Lara Cricket, 1994. In April 1994, a 24-year-old from Trinidad named Lara walked out at Antigua and scored 375 against England. Broke a record that had stood for 36 years. Garfield Sober's 365, set in 1958. 6 weeks later, still in the same summer, Lara scored 501 not out for Warwickshire against Durham at Edgbaston. First and only person to pass 500 in a first-class innings. Both records still stand today, in 2026. When that happened, a developer called Audiogenic looked at their existing cricket game, Graham Gooch World Class Cricket, and said, "We're putting this man's name on our box." Smart move. The DOS version came out in 1994. A year later, 1995, it hit the Sega Mega Drive. And the Mega Drive version spent 10 weeks at #1 in the UK games charts. Not just sports. Overall, a cricket game in 1995. The game was essentially a reskin of what already existed. Nothing technically revolutionary, but Lara's name on the cover meant everything in that moment. Because Lara was the biggest thing in cricket on Earth. That's how this franchise started. Cricket 96, EA Sports entered the cricket space the same year with Cricket 96 on PC. Developed by Beam Software. Same studio behind Super International Cricket on the SNES. Better graphics than what had come before. More polished presentation, but very much still an arcade-style experience. No official licenses, no real player names, though many of the in-game characters were obvious stand-ins for real people if you squinted hard enough. Nobody really talks about Cricket 96 now. It existed. It laid the groundwork. EA was planting a flag in the genre, and this was the first stake. Lara Cricket 96. Codemasters released the sequel the following year. Updated rosters, smoother animations, also hit #1 in the UK charts. In Australia, it was called Shane Warne Cricket. Same game, Warne's face on the box instead of Lara's. That two-name system continued all the way through the series and tells you something about how the cricket world was split geographically. You either grew up with Lara or you grew up with Warne. Cricket 97. Cricket 97 was EA's follow-up, developed by Creative Assembly. Michael Atherton on the cover, Richie Bernard and Ian Botham on commentary, and buried inside the game were cheat codes that people talked about for years. Pause the game. Type 111. The stumps explode when a batsman gets bowled, not just fall, they detonate. Type 131 and the announcer says somebody ate their Weetabix, and suddenly every shot you play goes for 4 or 6. Type 323 and you get warp speed captain on. Every player on the field moves at double pace like a VHS on fast forward. Lara Cricket 99. Codemasters absorbed the original Audiogenic development team, rebuilt from scratch, and delivered the first fully 3D cricket game in the series. First-generation PlayStation, motion-captured players, real stadium geometry, Jeffrey Boycott and Jonathan Agnew on commentary, which if you know either of those two voices, you know exactly what that atmosphere sounded like. The ball physics were unlike anything cricket gaming had produced. The way the ball came off the bat, the way it moved through the air. Many serious cricket gaming fans consider this the greatest cricket game ever made. Not one of the greatest. The greatest. No cheat code circus, no gimmicks. This one earned its reputation purely through how it felt to play. In Australia and New Zealand, same game, different cover. Shane Warne Cricket 99. The two-name tradition alive and well. ICC Cricket World Cup England 99. EA capitalized on the 1999 World Cup with an officially licensed tournament game. You could recreate the whole tournament or rewrite history entirely. It had a unique identity that separated it from the standard annual release cycle, a genuine World Cup product rather than just another cricket sim. Not a landmark game, but a smart bit of timing from EA. Cricket 2000 was EA's attempt to bring proper broadcast presentation to the series. Better graphics, more authentic commentary, pitches that looked like actual pitches. The focus shifted away from arcade chaos and towards something resembling a real cricket match on television. A step in the right direction. Not remembered especially fondly, but a genuine improvement over what EA had been putting out. Cricket 2002. EA Sports had been around the cricket game space since 1996, but 2002 was when they properly showed up. Released for PS2 and Windows. Developed by HB Studios. It was built with the bones of what Codemasters had done. EA had essentially bought that development model, and it was a genuine improvement over the late 90s efforts. This game is remembered for one thing above everything else, and it's not the gameplay. Go to the main menu, click inside EA Sports. Hover your cursor over the Credits tab. Don't click it, just hover until it starts wobbling. Then type. Big bat. Your bat becomes enormous. We're talking comically huge. Missing becomes nearly impossible. Butter. The entire opposition fielding side suddenly has hands made of absolute butter. Every catch attempt? Gone. Dropped. They can't hold anything. And the best one. The absolute peak of human creativity in sports gaming. Fat fielders. Every single fielder on the pitch transforms into a portly umpire. 11 fat umpires waddling around the outfield trying to stop your shots? 11 fat umpires with butter hands, while you're batting with a bat the size of a door. EA really said, yeah, this is fine, and shipped it. Cricket 2004. Here's where EA started slipping. Cricket 2004 had all the international teams from the 2003 World Cup. Create a player mode. Autoplay features. On paper, it sounded decent. IGN gave it the award for Worst PlayStation 2 Graphics in 2004. Not Worst Cricket Game Graphics. Worst PS2 Graphics of any game. That year. That's a specific kind of achievement. The gameplay wasn't broken. You could still enjoy it. But it looked like it had been made on a significantly smaller budget than games releasing alongside it. The bones were fine. The presentation was embarrassing. Lara International Cricket versus EA Cricket. 2005. The year of the war. July 21st, 2005. The exact first day of the most anticipated Ashes series in a generation. England versus Australia, the summer that stopped the cricket world. Codemasters releases Lara International Cricket 2005 on that exact date. In Australia, Ricky Ponting International Cricket 2005. Same game, same day, different face. EA panics. Cricket 2005 drops the same month. BLIC had the challenge mode. Recreate the Bodyline series, Garfield Sober's 6 Sixes, The Birth of the Ashes. Rewrite history or replay it, match by match. That's not a feature you see in sports games. That's a museum piece with a controller. Average 7.5 out of 10. People genuinely loved it. EA Cricket 2005 used FIFA and NBA engine technology. Over 35 dynamically lit stadiums. Lahore, Lords, Melbourne, Cape Town, Barbados. Had 2020 for the first time in an EA Cricket game. On a spec sheet, impressive. In practice, one review said you could bowl Australia out for under 50 on hard difficulty just by hitting the stumps with the same delivery every ball. The AI batsman would block. Every time. Same ball, same response. Not a cricket game, a bug dressed up in a tournament mode. The commentary still said bizarre things that had nothing to do with what was happening on screen. Codemasters won that year. Clearly. EA Cricket 07. Right? This is the one. Give me a minute. November 2006, Andrew Flintoff on the cover. This was the second year running he appeared on it, because EA knew exactly which face moved copies. Richie Bernard and Mark Nicholas on commentary, and inside the game, a batting system that no cricket game had ever attempted before. The Century Stick. Left analog stick. You control foot movement. Front foot or back foot, your choice, before the ball arrives. Right analog stick. Shot direction, timing, and power. All analog, all variable. A slight push nudges the ball through the leg side for a single. A full push cracks it through the covers for 4. The direction of the stick dictates the direction of the shot. If there's a gap at extra cover, you push the stick to extra cover. That's it. That's how it worked. For the first time in a cricket game, batting felt like batting. Not button timing, not a context menu, actually placing the ball where you wanted it to go with a physical stick movement. EA's own developer diary described it as full control over foot choice, shot selection, shot direction, shot power, and timing, all governed through the use of both analog sticks. And for once, the marketing was accurate. The confidence system meant your batsman had psychological states. Flintoff walking in had a higher starting confidence than a number 9. Play aggressively and build it. Get beaten a few times and it drops. A tail-ender on low confidence could barely prod the ball. A set opener on high confidence was dangerous from ball 1. Now here's the part that actually kills me. The game's biggest market was South Asia. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, 1 billion cricket fans who wanted this game. And EA knew it. But they couldn't properly license Indian or Pakistani players because of the BCCI legal situation. So you had generic player names. S. Malik. Made up stand-ins for real people. And then, rampant piracy from these regions seriously marred their profit margins, and the series never produced the estimated revenues. The same people who loved this game the most were the ones not paying for it. Every CD shop in Karachi and Delhi was selling Cricket 07 copies for like 30 rupees. EA Sports ran into a legal deadlock with the BCCI and lost the licensing rights to the Indian players. Their problems only got compounded. EA Sports eventually did not feel it was necessary to develop a series that was already running at a loss. Think about that. The biggest cricket market on Earth, India alone, 1.4 billion people, was either pirating the game or playing with fake player names. EA couldn't make money either way, so they did the only logical thing and just stopped. Cricket 07 was the last EA cricket game ever made. No announcement, no goodbye. They walked out the door and didn't come back. But wait, here's where it gets genuinely wild. The same South Asian fans who pirated the game and killed the franchise? They refused to let the game die. After the end of cricket games by EA Sports, modders started developing patches. Even in 2021, patches were being released every now and then, over 100 patches published in a single decade. Studios formed. These are organized teams spending months building real IPL rosters, real Pakistani and Indian player faces, Star Sports broadcast overlays, updated kits, current fixtures, all inside a 2006 engine. The International Cricket 2025 patch includes all major tournaments of 2024 to 25 with updated 2025 squads, new broadcasting overlays including BCCI TV, Star Sports, PTV, Sony, Sky Sports, Fox Sports, and new 2025 stadiums with updated HD textures. For a game that runs on Windows XP in 2025. The people who pirated Cricket 07 and killed the franchise spent the next 19 years building everything EA never built. Brian Lara International Cricket 2007. Codemaster's final major cricket title. Significantly improved visuals, especially on Xbox 360, where it looked genuinely impressive for the time. Gameplay leaned hard into simulation. Real cricket strategy rewarded, arcade power hitting punished. The most visually polished Codemasters cricket game. But by 2007, Codemasters were already starting to lose interest in the genre. This felt like a farewell lap. Brian Lara himself had retired from international cricket in April 2007, which made the game oddly elegiac. The face of the franchise playing his last game as a cricket game character at roughly the same time as he walked off a real pitch for the final time. Brian Lara Pressure Play, 2007. Same year, different platform. PSP exclusive. Brought the BLIC experience to handheld, which was a genuine achievement given the hardware constraints. Complete cricket in your pocket was still a novelty in 2007, and this delivered it better than expected. Cult favorite among people who had PSPs, which was a specific demographic. Ashes Cricket 2009. With Lara retired and Codemasters shifting priorities, they pivoted to cricket's biggest brand, the Ashes. Official licenses, HD visuals for the first time in a Codemasters cricket game. Online multiplayer, a genuinely good-looking game that introduced cricket gaming to a generation of console players who'd never touched the series before. Cricket Revolution 2009. An indie cricket game that tried something unusual, built around online multiplayer as the core feature rather than an afterthought. Small community, but devoted. Technical issues held it back from ever becoming mainstream, but the concept was ahead of its time. Online cricket gaming wouldn't properly work for years after this. International Cricket 2010. Codemasters follow-up to Ashes 2009. More teams, improved animations, refined mechanics. Reception was mixed. And then quietly, without fanfare, Codemasters left cricket gaming entirely. The studio that had carried Brian Lara's name through 6 games and defined an era just walked away. No announcement. Same as EA. Between 2010 and 2013, no major cricket game shipped. The entire genre went dark. Ashes, Cricket 2013. And then this happened. November 22nd, 2013. Publisher 505 Games releases Ashes Cricket 2013 on Steam. Cricket fans had been waiting 3 years for something. Anything. This was supposed to be it. November 28th, 2013. 6 days after launch, 505 Games pulls the game from sale, cancels all console versions, Xbox 360, PS3, Wii U, all gone, and publicly apologizes. Full refunds to every customer. 6 days, no online play, no DRS system, no replay function. Broken animations, fielders teleporting, batsmen glitching through each other. AI completely non-functional. Visuals that people on forums described as worse than Brian Lara cricket, 99 from 1998. Metacritic user reviews comparing it to E.T. for the Atari. E.T., the 1983 Atari game, widely considered the worst video game ever made, the one that nearly destroyed the entire video game industry. 505 Games' official statement said they needed to protect the Ashes name. The game had done reputational damage to the Ashes brand. Not just a bad cricket game, a game bad enough to damage a 141-year-old cricket institution. Somebody wrote in a review, "This game should be burnt to ashes." Bradman Cricket, 2014. The year after the disaster, a small Australian studio called Big Ant Studios reset the entire genre. No official licenses, no real player names. Didn't matter. The batting system was the most detailed any cricket game had ever had. Career mode that started you as a 16-year-old domestic cricketer and ran for 20 years of in-game time. Statistical tracking that actually persisted and meant something. Ball physics rebuilt from the ground up. Shot controls that genuinely rewarded cricket knowledge. You had to understand angles, field placements, footwork, not just press buttons and rhythm. Reviews were serious. The community was serious. After Ashes Cricket 2013, the bar for not embarrassing was practically underground, and Bradman 14 cleared it by a mile. It was proof that cricket gaming could be done properly without a big license, without a big studio, without EA's resources or Codemasters' history. Bradman Cricket. 17. Improved AI, better visuals, stadium creation tools, deeper career mode, more realistic ball physics, expanded commentary. Women's cricket included. First time that had happened in this genre. That's not a small thing. Half the cricket-playing world existed in the game for the first time. Ashes Cricket, 2017. Big Ant got their first major license and delivered the most realistic cricket game available at that point. Official Ashes branding, real players, authentic venues, Big Ant's gameplay engine underneath, it felt like the culmination of everything the studio had been building since 2014. Cricket 19. Widely regarded as one of the finest cricket simulations ever made, the career mode became genuinely deep. AI improved to the point where AI teams played actual cricket, field placements that made sense, bowling plans that responded to your batting. Customization allowed you to recreate almost any competition on Earth. Big Ant found their stride here and didn't let go of it. Cricket 22. Expanded licensing, upgraded player models, improved animations, launched with bugs. This became a recurring theme for Big Ant, but the foundation was strong. A bridge between where the series had been and where it was going. Cricket 24. Over 200 players photogrammetry scanned with real faces. The Ashes, BBL, The 100, Caribbean Premier League, PSL, and for the first time ever, proper licensed Indian T20 teams inside a cricket game. 50-plus official stadiums. Career mode from club cricket to international stage. The most content a cricket game had ever shipped with at launch. It still had bugs. AI simulation results occasionally went completely off the rails, but the batting felt like the best it had ever felt in any cricket game. Cricket 26? Ray-traced lighting? Dynamic weather that changes during play. Updated fielding animations. Realistic player celebrations baked in. Not canned animations, but actual motion-captured celebrations from real players. Travis Head's century celebration is in the game. Expanded Ashes mode. Better AI. Deeper career mode. Still has launch bugs. Cricket gaming tradition at this point. The genre is allergic to clean launches. Drop a comment. Which game actually defined cricket gaming for you growing up? And if anyone played with fat fielders on, I respect you enormously. Subscribe for more of this. See you in the next one.